Hi, this is Majinoni, and here's my attempt at a video for people who are just getting into comics and are looking for something like what's out there that might spark their interest. The problem with this type of video is there's so many different comics out there, and then my tastes are gonna be different than the next guy's, and I'm sure there's gonna be tons of comments in this video that are gonna recommend a lot of other things. So it's really difficult to do, other than doing like a 5-hour video type thing, which nobody's going to want to see. But anyways, right now for me, now's not a good time for reading a monthly title. If you're just starting out. Batman, like if you read Batman, you're going to go, WTF, there's 2 Batman, I don't get it. What do you mean Batman has a son? You look at Daredevil and you go, wait a second, he's not Daredevil, it's the Black Panther, and who's the Black Panther? I don't get it. You're going to look at Spider-Man, I guess you can say, well, I didn't know that he was or wasn't married to Mary Jane, so I guess you're almost okay with that. Hulk, you're going, what do you mean, Red Hulk, kids? I don't get it. And that's the problem right now with comics, is it's so convoluted and mess that it's really difficult. So I would almost say, read the trades. Start on the trades, and then from there, find something that you like, and if you feel brave, you can jump in. Though there's a few titles that are decent that you can jump into, but those are few and far between right now. Like, if you're looking for a more realistic approach to superheroes, I would say Bendis' Daredevil. This was a really good, with Bendis' run, all the way up until the last run where he became the leader of the Hand, which was a mess. This was all really good. This was like based on more realistic, like Bendis grounded Daredevil in reality, basically. And along the same token, or same lines, Captain America with Brubaker, that's also a grounded Cap in more like an everyday life type thing, like he actually would exist. It's not as colorful. It's more realistic. I mean, granted, more realistic in terms of comic book sense, but it's not like this. If you're looking for more team-orientated books, I guess you can say Bendis' run on the New Avengers was good. We have basically you had a whole new team of Avengers, and this basically started off the starting point for the Secret Invasion, which I wouldn't even bother reading because you're just going to get all confused. Like most people were confused. Along those lines, Spider-Man, even though I know a lot of people hate Spider-Man right now because of all the changes that Joe Quesada has made, Spider-Man actually is a good time to join that one, just because it's a fresh, they eliminated a lot of continuity, and they made it very user-friendly for new readers. Now, Thor's also a title that would be a good time to jump on if you're looking for something that's going to be a movie tie-in. Ultimate Spider-Man, the beginnings of Ultimate Spider-Man were good, but the rest of it it was like they got hit by a plate of stupid or something. I know with the X-Men it's popular because of the movies, but the X-Men's a mess that they're never going to be able to fix. And, I mean, those are like the key titles. Hulk is, like I said, Hulk is a jumbled mess also, with the kids going off into space and all that other nonsense. DC isn't looking much better. I would say Kingdom Come is actually a really good read. You don't really need to know a lot about what's going on in like the history, because this is, in a sense, like it was supposed to be like an alternate reality situation where you have superheroes and supervillains getting completely out of control. And this was written by Mark Waid and Alex Ross. Mark Waid's a really good writer. Right now he's doing a lot of independent stuff with Irredeemable and Incorruptible, but he's also done like a really good, strong run with Captain America, with Marvel. And as you can see, Alex Ross is more painterly quality artwork, which is actually really nice art. This is probably one of the best graphic novels put out by DC, next to The Watchmen. Now, the reason why I'm saying you should read this is because it seems like now with DC's continuity, a lot of the stuff that's happening is gearing towards this. So this is something that you're going to need to know what's going on. In terms of the Green Lantern stuff, the Lantern War, if you're so late in the process in that thing that unless you want to drop hundreds of dollars, it's almost not worth getting right now. The JLA is also another mess that DC is. Like I look at the JLA as, like DC has all the parts to like a Lamborghini, BMW, something like that, and they just don't know how to put it together. It's just a mess. I know I said something about the Batman with the two Batman and stuff like that, but there is some bad titles that are starting off with a #1 issue, which might be a little bit more user-friendly to read. I would personally go with something like Invincible. With Invincible, this is written by Robert Kirkman, who you may know from The Walking Dead. Now, with Invincible, this was basically like, imagine Peter Parker is Superman, and this is his life. I guess this is one way to describe it, because you have basically, all the problems like Peter had, where you had to go to school, he was failing school, and then he's got superpowers type thing. This is a little bit violent at times. There's some blood, some gore, things like that. But I think Invincible is really, really strong. A very, very strong title. Along those lines, I also think, I know this is going to be really weird sounding, but Savage Dragon also has really good parts to it. I think with Larson's had a lot of consistency with it. If you read comics as a kid and you like the Silver Age, you like Jack Kirby, that he captures that type of style. It's very over the top, massive destruction. There's a lot of parody type stuff, homages where he takes from Marvel, and it's just basically over the top violence. So in a sense, it's kind of fun, and I used to read it, stopped for years, and now I'm starting to get back into it. And now, I think one of the strong points for DC, though, is their Vertigo line. Their Vertigo line was DC's attempt at doing like an adult, mature title that wasn't necessarily superhero-based. And I know I'm butchering the description a little bit, but that's a gist of it really quickly. A couple really good titles are Sandman by Neil Gaiman. Now, Sandman, you're not really going to get any new Sandman titles other than like the Death series, but the Sandman, I would highly recommend it. This was probably one of the best comics I've ever read. The trades are all available, and it's basically a story of Dream. Dream basically was captured, and when Dream was captured, everybody lost the ability to dream. He finally escaped, and then he started to go on a quest type thing. And again, I'm shortening it because I'm trying to keep the video short as possible. Now, the art is very different than what you would normally get in a comic. Now, one thing that I thought was kind of good was the artists would change frequently. So what would happen is you would get a constantly evolving style of storytelling. While there is an overall story that's through this, because you do meet his other brothers and sisters in like Death, Delirium, Destruction, Destiny, people like that. But you also got really interesting side stories. Like it had one of the stories that I really found interesting was one where a cat had to basically the cats used to rule the world, and then what happened was humans eventually got enough people to dream that reality didn't exist, and it changed reality, so humans were in charge and the cats were the pets, and the cat realized this, and he's trying to get the other cats to dream along. So you get little interesting things like that. Fables is also another, I think, is one of the more interesting titles. It's by Willingham, and here's another guy who basically stayed on this title, and it's been going on for ages. Now, I think Fables, like if you have a girlfriend or something like that, or a mom or something like that who's, who's interested in comics, Fables could be potentially something that could be interested in, because it's a story of fairy tales. And what it is in a nutshell is you have a realm of the fairy tale world, and you have these things, I forgot what they're called, but they're basically warlike beings who came in and were going to destroy everything. So what they did was they packed up house and they moved to New York, and they have like a fable town, and everybody has their own little niche type thing that they have to deal with. Like like the wolf is like the sheriff, Snow White's the mayor type thing. And I mean, I am behind on it, which is really unfortunate because I really enjoyed this series. But it's really different. And I mean, DC really took a chance on it, and it's really solid. There's other books that I haven't been getting, like Hellblazer. Hellblazer's really good for like the occult horror type stuff, which leads me to some horror stuff that's out there. There's probably the three key ones that I would say. You have The Walking Dead by Kirkman. I don't think I really need to say much of it other than it's zombies, and it's really good. Next is Hellboy. Hellboy, it's based on the movies, so I don't think I really need to go into much detail. The art is really phenomenal. It's different. It's really good. It's based on Mike Mignola takes a lot of his stories off of fairy tales from the world, and Hellboy is really good. And of course, there's Steve Niles from the 30 Days of Night. It's really gory. It's really bloody. It's very the art's really out there, and I think with the Niles, these are probably like the three of the stronger modern day horror comics. Now, a couple other titles that I want to show is the first one is Chew. Chew is an Image title. It's not a superhero thing. It's a detective thing. But what's interesting about it is Detective Chew, if he eats something, he learns the history of that item that he ate. So, for an example, if he ate a steak, then he goes through, I guess you can say, the memories of the cow. He goes through the butcher house. He feels the torment, the blood, the slaughter, and everything that led up to that. But the only thing that he can eat that he doesn't gain is that from his beets, which that would be a really boring existence. Now, in this alternate universe, chickens, because of the bird flu. Sorry, not the swine flu, bird flu. They kill all the chickens, and basically chickens are, there's basically, if you own a chicken or you're caught eating one or selling one, it's basically a crime. So he basically investigates those types of crimes. It's Chew's really strong title. I believe with Chew there's going to be a beginning, middle, and end, which is really appealing to me, and it's interesting. I really enjoyed the first issue a lot. The second trade isn't as strong so far, but I'm not finished with it yet. Oh, and also Chew's potential love interest is a food critic, and what happens is when she writes her review, her descriptions are so vivid that the reader can actually taste or experience what she ate, which can cause good and bad circumstances from that. And finally is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This is an Alan Moore title, and this is one of those books that you're lucky when it comes out, but when it comes out, it's really good. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is based on the movie, but don't take any bad feelings out on the comic, because the movie was a bastardized version. What you have is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, who are like the Invisible Man, Jacques Cousteau. the Nemo thing. And you had all these historical figures. There's like Dr. Jekyll was in there, and then what they're doing is basically they're in a sense they're superheroes, and this is one of those titles that goes through time, and like there's the Martian invasion later on, and then these heroes they get swapped out for more as it goes through the different time periods. The heroes of that time period. And Kevin O'Neill, he's like an odd artist. But by odd I mean it's not pretty, but it's always interesting for me. Now with O'Neill, what I first was introduced by O'Neill with the comic called Nemesis the Warlock. And Nemesis the Warlock, I'm going to do a review on it because it's one of the most insane comics with racism in it and aliens, and it's just insanely violent, and it's really, really good. If you ever see it, try to get it, but I'll do a review of it. But the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is another one. Like I said, another title. It's a superhero title that doesn't act like a superhero title because it's not like Superman, Batman. It's not like Captain America, Daredevil, and all that other nonsense. But anyways, I hope this is helpful. Like I said, I could spend 2 hours doing this, and I would still not even scratch the surface. But if you have any comments or questions, let me know. And if any people who watch this has any recommendations, feel free to post your recommendations. Because I know I know some of my things are going to polarize some people. But let me know what you guys think, and until next time.